Alright. And here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Level With You show. And I think we're gonna have to do a quick refresh here, Tyler, because I am hearing myself and it's extremely distracting.
You gotta mute the stream in Discord.
Okay.
Just however Kenny did it.
Yeah, just right click on the stream and it'll let you do it.
All right. Cool. Starting again in 3, 2, 1. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Level With You show. Joining me this week, I have Tyler Hadley.
Hey everybody, I'm on camera today. Ooga booga.
The Sub-Zero hero himself, Kenny Castro.
What's up?
And my name is Wiley Olmstead. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is a weekly video game podcast where the 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 2 of us get together and talk about, you guessed it, video games. This week we got a lot to talk about. We've been playing the new Souls-like Mortal Shell, and Tyler's got to talk about Sea of Stars, the upcoming old school JRPG-like from the creators of The Messenger, which he's got early access to because he is a backer. Kenny's got some impressions of the new Madden 21, because he pre-ordered. We're getting all types of pre-order bonuses, as well as lots of news to go over from the DC Fandome event. We got our first look at Rocksteady's game that they've been working on for so many years, as well as Arkham Knights and a slew of other DC news. But before we get into that, we like to chat with each other a little bit, let people know that if they are watching live on Twitch, feel free to hop in with a question, a comment, anything like that. Or if you're watching the video later on YouTube or listening on a podcast service, feel free to reach out to us in our Discord or in the comment section. All right, guys. So how we doing this week? How you feeling out there? Any big storms that you had to deal with?
Well, there's a big storm the other day.
There was, but I was like, weren't we talking about that last week?
I mean, there's kind of another big storm. Not as big, but...
Yeah.
Oh. I guess that didn't reach up here in old Hatfield, out in the boonies. But
maybe not.
So how things been going with your insanity, Tyler? You keeping up with it?
Nope. I've been off of that for like the last 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
But I'm trying my darndest to still eat healthy. So that's pretty much all I've been doing. But I do really want to get back into doing something. And I'm like still kind of like itching at like I want something like a gym. Like I miss lifting weights. I miss like being on the treadmill or the elliptical, and also being able to like watch my animes while getting my cardio in.
Definitely.
Can't do that with insanity.
No, that's way too demanding. That's why for me, I always know I would get burnt out. So I haven't ever jumped in, although I know it works for you when you do it for a few weeks, you slim down, you're feeling good, and then you're back in your good habits. But that's just too much to keep up forever, for me anyway.
Yeah, it's good if you're like getting married in a few months and you want to like slim down or something like that. Or you got this big party you want to look good for everybody in your bathing suit in front of. It's good for those kinds of things. You're going on vacation.
Gotcha. Well, that's a good way to look at it. All right, Kenny, what about you? How's things over in Springfield?
Hasn't been too bad. It's been pretty good. I can't complain, just taking it easy, Work. I did my birthday weekend, then week last week. Enjoyed
Oh
it.
yeah, it
Had
was
a
your
lot of
birthday,
fun.
like the day after last week's show. Happy birthday.
Thank you. So, it was a lot of fun. Saturday we got together at the house. Tyler came over. We grilled some steak tip kebabs that Tyler put together. We grilled some bacon wrapped scallops.
Ooh,
Some
fancy.
foil
Dang.
packet shrimp and
There's
salmon,
too much food.
sausage. If it wasn't for Tyler's kebabs, we would have had no vegetables. It would have been just straight protein.
Well, that sounds like a good time. And how'd everything turn out, Tyler? You be the judge.
No, yeah, everything was good.
Nice.
Even though Kenny's girl was hating on my steak tips.
What was wrong with them? They didn't marinate them long enough.
She said they were
No,
too chewy.
she
Ah,
just because of the timing. Like Tyler and Caitlin prefer, a little undercooked, more rare on the rare side. And
Mhm.
he's not that kind of person. So the first round when we pulled it out, it wasn't. And then the thing is with her is that after she has it and it kind of is not how she likes it, she's like struggles to even go back to it
It's done
because
for.
yeah, it's done for her in her head for the day.
Yeah.
No, but yeah,
Yeah.
all the seafood was really good. Scallops, the salmon, had some sausage. There's a lot of food
I
for 6 people.
I sat there, right? So when I went to Big Y, this is why the people don't let me go to Big Y by myself. I was sitting there and I was like, "Oh, what should I grab?" I'm putting things in the cart, and then I happen across the pack of pre-prepped, bacon wrapped scallops, and I was like, Me and Tyler were fans of scallops because I remember that one event that we showed or that we both went to for our job, and we were fucking up scallops. Like,
They are delicious, whatever they are.
Yeah.
There's white circle mysteries of the sea.
So I was like, yeah, I'm grabbing these because if it's on at least if it's only me and Tyler, I'm pretty sure we'll kill this whole pack of bacon wrapped scallops.
Yep, sounds like an easy thing to do. Well, me personally, I just had my first year anniversary. I got married on August 24th, 2019.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary!
We
Thank you
were
very
all
much.
there a year ago.
Yes. What a different time, a simpler time.
I know.
Shout out to my boy, whoever was part of the catering crew, who kept bringing me the tapas, the appetizers.
Yep, I
My
remember
man's
that.
was only focused on my table at that point.
I know he's a fan of the show.
Oh, nice.
And let's see. We went to Vera Cruzana, went for Mexican. We kind of
Ooh.
were just walking around downtown looking for a low-key outdoor dining place. And it was Monday night, so town was dead. And we got a nice little table all to ourselves. That place is on point. They're like, I used to have mixed feelings about them, but the last like 4 or 5 times I've been, they really are delicious. And so yeah, I got some pupusas, which is like my new favorite Mexican thing.
What is it exactly? What is a pupusa?
It's like a stuffed corn tortilla with beef and cheese, so it's kind of like
A burrito?
I thought
no, like
pupusas
it's like a
Salvadorian.
maybe it is. It totally could be, but they have it at Vera Cruzana, and it's sort of like imagine like a half-inch corn tortilla, so much thicker than normal, but it's stuffed with cheese and like pulled pork or barbacoa or something like that, and so it's like a savory pancake, savory Mexican pancake.
Nice.
And stuffed jalapenos, a couple fish tacos. We definitely had some leftovers, but primo,
Question: Did they have any red onions to throw on top of the pupusas?
Didn't come with them, but it did come with a side of slaw, like a vinegar slaw, and
yeah, the vinegar slaw is good to throw on top of it. Perfect.
nice, and a little bit of hot sauce. Actually, like a pretty fairly substantial cup of it. So
yeah, nice. I'm gonna have to check them out.
Cool. I think do they have one in Springfield? I know they have one in East Hampton and Northampton.
Vera Cruzano.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But there was at least a Salvadorian restaurant on Hancock that made some amazing pupusas. But I think they suffered a fire. But the owner is, I think, doing takeout orders out of her home. So I haven't reached out to her yet.
Oh wow.
No.
The third location I knew there was one is in Amherst. There's not one in out your guys' way. But anyway, so that was the highlight of my week. Other than that, been playing a decent amount of Mortal Shell. That's been taking up most of my gaming attention, and riding my bike, doing other quarantine things. So that's that. You guys have anything else you want to bring up before we get into what we've been playing?
Nah, man. Let's just do it.
Nah.
Let's just do it. All right, so Tyler and I both picked up Mortal Shell, the new Souls-like from a new indie studio. It's $30, not a full $60 game. It definitely has some AAA visuals for the most part. Sometimes you maybe see that it's a smaller team, but it's very visually impressive for an indie game made by a studio less than 20 people. Tyler blazed through the game in like three days because Kenya was like, Wiley's way better at these types of games. So
Nah, it's to start with you, Wiley. You're like, oh, this first boss is so hard. You're not gonna like it. I'm like, you know what? I got this. Hold my beer.
I just put the cherry on top.
Yeah, okay. Well, so I guess it was both of us motivating him. But so yeah, a couple days after we started playing, Tyler messaged me. He's just like, yeah, I just got to New Game Plus. I'm like, shit, I'm gonna step my game up.
It's a short game. It's really short.
It is really short, and I made the unfortunate mistake of, I think, trying to tackle easily the toughest dungeon before the other two dungeons. So that was why I was initially frustrated. But Tyler, before I give my thoughts, I wanna hear your overall feelings about the game. This is, I think, maybe this first Souls-like that you've actually completed.
Well, I finished I beat Bloodborne.
Oh, okay, second. So you're familiar with the genre. You're just not like all about it.
I mean, I definitely have fun with it. I mean, you were there my first playthrough of Bloodborne, and I just got caught somewhere, but then I ended up going back to it and actually getting a lot farther, having a lot more fun with it. I really can't really say what it was that like got me so much more into it compared to the first time I played it. But I did enjoy it a lot more. And same thing goes for like this game, Mortal Shell. I mean, right off the bat, it seemed a little tough to get used to like the mechanics of it, like hardening and then they introduced like the parry system, and the parry system didn't feel like super well timed and stuff like that. But over time, I got more used to it, and then that kind of like made me realize that it really isn't as in depth as like a Bloodborne when it came to like enemies and stuff like that.
That's my personal biggest gripe with the game, is that I feel I progressed, the enemies became more and more repetitive, especially in the overworld of Falgrim, to a point where I thought that the later portions of the game where you are in the sort of hub world, which connects the 3 dungeons that you need to complete in order to finish your ultimate goal, they spell out what you need to do pretty early on. And towards the end, it sort of becomes more fogged up, more corrupted with undead enemies, to the point where before I fought the final boss and I was making my trek back, the game has quite a bit of backtracking to the area that I needed to sort of initiate the final encounter. It was just nothing but these little zombie guys that are so annoying. They're not challenging on their own, so you feel the need to just run past them. Eventually, you're lost. You've got like 7 of them, sometimes 10 of them aggroed, chasing you, and you're just like, I want to explore and find some items, maybe find some secrets, but I can't unless I want to keep fighting this repetitive ass enemy. And I, that's what I honestly was pretty sour on the game in the final couple hours. However, I don't think that the experience as a whole, if you're a fan of the genre, is something that you want to miss. I think that the combat does some really unique things. I think that the mortal shell itself, which is a technique that you do by clicking L2 and you instantly become invincible to literally, I think, every attack in the game. And you can do this mid attack. You can do this, if you can hold it down and do it for like 10 seconds if you just want to wait for them to come to you. They get a little bit of a stagger.
Yeah, like
I thought that was great.
Projectiles won't hit you at all. You can just like take as many projectiles that it's going to come at you as you're in your shell.
Yeah, it's definitely a neat mechanic, which you do kind of find out ways to exploit enemies. But the game is challenging for sure, like, and especially up front and late game. I think for the middle portion of it, I was a little bit breezing through it once I had leveled up my preferred weapon of choice, and my shell of choice. I'll say the other main thing that the game does is that as opposed to having builds that are very customizable, there are 4 shells that you find throughout your playthrough. Now, Tyler, which of the 4 shells did you prefer?
So my favorite shell was Solomon the Scholar. I really liked him.
That's the very first one.
No, well, I found him second. So he's the one after, yeah, he's the one after that first like monster boss, or pretty much like the first boss, I guess.
Yeah, which is a very good boss. It took me a few tries. I was getting frustrated, but I was getting acclimated to the parrying, which is a big deal. The game has sort of a Bloodborne-esque timing for the parrying, as opposed to shooting them with your shotgun or whatever, as you would do in Bloodborne. In this game, you kind of hold up a little thing, which enables you to heal yourself. The game doesn't have a traditional Estus flask, which seems like it would be a major difficulty increase, but your health pool is quite a bit larger than it is in a game like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, where 2 or 3 hits can knock you out. That's not really the case in Mortal Shell, so that it compensates. So why did you like Solomon?
I thought he had kind of like the best balance of stamina and HP. I think he had like 1 notch below like the highest shell's HP, but then he also had a decent amount of stamina. I think he also had like 5 or 6 like resolve reserves that you could save up for. And his abilities were also really kind of OP in some instances, I think. So I think one of his abilities was you would gain a resolve meter every time you talk to a new NPC. So you could like literally just kind of like spam those filled.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And then I think every time you used like a special attack, it healed you for a little bit. So when you upgrade your weapon, with that first section, you unlock the L1 R1 like super move or whatever you want to call it, and that healed him for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he's just the one I kind of like ended up playing the most with. I did go through a little ways as the shell that had like the huge amount of HP but a little amount of stamina. And I just kind of got tired of not having any stamina.
All right, well, I'll take you to my pick. It's him. Eridum the Venerable, for me, the third one that I found, has a massive health bar. Like it just trounces the others. To me, it was like, who was struggling early on, I was like, this is a game changer. It's, sure, I have less stamina, but I'm using my hammer weapon, which takes up less stamina than all the other ones. And so I was able to, even though I was playing with little stamina, I could still get a good 4 or 5 attacks in with the hammer, which is sort of the light weapon where you can really, it's the hammer and chisel. So it's not just like a big hammer like you might be envisioning. It's actually the game's lightest weapon, of which there are also 4. I thought that I felt most nimble with the hammer and chisel, and I stuck with it mainly through the whole game because it's only about, for me, I would say 14 hours maybe. And once I had upgraded it to +4, there was really no point in going back unless I decide to go back for New Game Plus. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I was kind of like saving some of the acids or whatever they were called that increase the damage for weapons, just because that was before I unlocked all the weapons. But then after I had a chance to actually like use each one of the weapons, I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna like put everything I have into the hammer because that's what I preferred using.
I really liked some of the animations of the other ones. I think they all looked really stylish. I think that the game as a whole has a nice vibe to it. I think the voice acting does a great job of emulating the Souls series. It's got that kind of creepy and distant and dry sense of humor that the Souls games have with its NPCs. I think that the armors of the shells look fantastic. I don't know about you, but like whenever there was a cutscene, and especially with my character, I thought he was the most badass of the 4 shells. I was like, dang, that looks like some top level Dark Souls armor. It looked awesome. So
Oh
I
yeah,
give
yeah.
it.
Like the game looked
Yeah.
really good. I agree.
So overall, it frustrated me more often than it wasn't with its backtracking, with its repetitive enemy encounters that eventually started to feel like a bit of a slog. The boss fights are hit or miss. There's only one that sort of touches any sort of spectacles that you might see in one of the couple dozen boss fights that you encounter in a Dark Souls, like a Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne. But
Was
if
that
you're a fan of the genre,
the ice guy? Is that what you're thinking of?
well, no, I was actually referring to the last one.
Uh,
But the ice one is a close second. I think that was a pretty cool one. And maybe I'm not giving it enough credit as far as the boss fights go, because some of the best boss fights in the Souls games are against sort of creatures or individuals around your size, which they don't like dwarf you like in Dark Souls or Bloodborne, typically.
mhm.
So yeah, I don't know what I'd give it out of 10. I think I'm going to mess around with New Game Plus a little bit, try a few more weapon types before I write up a review, and get that on the channel, and look for it in the coming weeks. Oh no, we're being invaded by a wild party with sleuths.
Kick them.
All right, Kenny, thanks for staying patient for our Mortal Shell conversation. You played the newest Madden 21. You returned to your Madden Monday grind. Tell me
Oh
about
no.
how it went.
Oh no. Anthony has thrown everything off. I'm
I'm trying
sorry.
to fix it.
I'm like, I was so distracted. So Madden 21. Woo! Let me give my ADHD under control. Yes. So started Madden Mondays again last night. Tyler was in the chat for a good portion of it, hyping me up, keeping me in focus at times, mentioning about how reminding me sometimes of how, certain actions and certain, route on certain roads of this of discourse I would take during games is how I start losing, and kept me
Oh,
kind of centered. So I was like, okay, but it was fun. I had some big plays going on at times.
now when I popped
Um,
in, you were playing with your Saints. I thought you were going to do a little bit of expanding your horizons.
so actually, let me talk about that. When you jumped in, you saw that my team had the Saints uniform, but I was playing Ultimate Team. So in reality, what you saw was just the uniforms I decided to go with. But in
Okay.
reality, Ultimate Team is like practically like a card collecting game where you
Right,
play
right.
the actual game. So I had Ryan Tannehill from the Tennessee Titans as my quarterback, and I had, at one point in time, I think when you first jumped in, I might have had Cooper Cup, Cortland Sutton as my wide receivers. And I was kind of struggling. I had no speed in the wide receiver department, and then Tyler was like, "Listen, I'm here for the card pack open." And I was like, I got it. So I used my rewards points for Xbox Live Rewards. Got a $10 gift card. I put myself up as just chatting while I was doing that. Bought myself some coins with that, and then I started opening some packs. As you'll see on the screen, this is what my team looks like. So you'll see like, some of them are Saints players, some of them aren't. It's a little mix and match, whatever the best players that I can get for each position. They're the ones that are in there at all times. And it's a fun mode. It's one of those where just because you have better players than me doesn't mean you're guaranteed to win.
Okay. And how about from a gameplay perspective, in the couple hours you played, were you able to see how it differed from Madden 20?
Yeah, I there was a little small things like in previous Maddens, like when you got within inches of a first down or within inches of a touchdown, you would yell like, "Wow, just reach over," right? Because in real life, what would the player do? He'd reach over for the extra yardage.
Mm-hmm.
In here, they actually naturally, if they're if their traits, their stats and their traits are high enough, they will reach over for that first down. Like they're within inches, you'll see your player go with the ball, reach over by one hand, or reach over both hands with the ball. So I think that's a nice added feature. It's not bad. Um, right now, it feels the speed to it is a little different. I feel like every Madden has a slight adjustment to their speed, so
Yeah.
it takes me a little bit to just get adjusted to the speed and try and get it figured out and
As
such.
an observer of Madden, for the most part, it does seem like it several years ago was pretty fast. Like it did not feel as sim-like as it does nowadays. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, big time. It was definitely at one point in time very fast, which some people enjoy, some people don't. For me personally, I like it. I like a little balance of both because I could go and play a whole game and just throw the ball all game, and that'll feel very fast. Or I could kind of grind it out by running the ball. So I don't mind either side of the speed, but it's always that adjusting period when I first get the game and figuring out the exact speed of everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
how fast some of these plays roll, or just how fast defenders react. To kind of trying to learn that window because sometimes some people let the computer react to it. Some people will change into the player themselves and try to react to it. Most of the time, when you see me play, you'll see that I'm trying to switch into the nearest defender if I'm not in the area and try to make a play on the ball.
Okay.
So that's me. Some people really, they don't trust themselves. They think they're gonna mess up the plays, so they won't do that. But I do want to touch on a new mode that they added. You're not gonna see any footage of it here because I didn't play it last night because I was just focused on Ultimate Team and playing head to heads on Ultimate Team yesterday. But the new mode is called the Yard. It's almost like backyard football, no linemen, everybody's eligible to catch the ball. Um, it's like a 1 or 2 second count before the somebody can rush the quarterback, and you'll see the players like throw behind the back passes, get real flashy with it, like throw like sideways passes
Some
or like
NFL Street type shit.
NFL Street type things. And I was like, wow, this is nice. And then you could unlock and buy gear with like credit that you earn throughout playing any kind of mode in the game. So you'll use that credit to buy like a new helmet that's real flashy with some nice graphics on it, or buy like a nice cool mouthpiece. My guy
Nice
currently
mouthpiece. Dang, they're really destinyifying everything.
everything. You could buy almost every little piece of thing and customize your guy. Like right now, my guy has a black in one arm and yellow in one arm sleeve that says "End Racism" and that type of thing, but with the real colorful white with pink and yellow like jersey, and the helmet that's real. The helmet is like glitchy, so it looks like it's like if there's a glitch happening on my helmet. So I have my guy really nicely customized out in that game mode. And
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
yep. So it's been fun. I think this time this is a Madden that I do recommend spending $60 on because they added some new things. It's not just the same all franchise, online head to head, ultimate team, and a random, story to follow. We have even the yard that I think people are gonna be spending a lot of time playing, especially since you can play with your friends. I think you can play up to like 4 or 5 people on the same team.
So this game does not have the story mode. What was called like
Face
first shot or something.
They had the first shot story, which was like 2 years ago. Then it was face of the franchise, and once again they brought it back again, face of the franchise. Well, again.
Okay.
So you
So
start out. I did a couple hours of that. I don't know if you were gonna ask that or anything.
go ahead.
Um,
Yeah.
so
How dare you?
um,
Oh, you guys can hear me? Oh shit.
Who's that? Spooky.
Ooh, don't mind me. I'm just haunting behind. Wiley, don't look behind you. Ooh.
oh man. So Face of the franchise is back. You play about 3 to 4 games as a high school player. Then you get to pick the college you want to go to. Then you play another 3 to 4 games. You go to the combine, do your workouts, try and work your draft grade, and then you get drafted, and then you keep on from there. So it's not too bad.
Sounds like a pretty standard my player mode type of thing of
Yep.
these days.
Yep.
Cool. Well, you can catch Kenny playing Madden on Mondays on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/levelwithyou. Are you going to stick with that 9 o'clock time frame, or is that to be determined?
I think I might. It gives me time to get the kids ready, do whatever, maybe watch a show with the wife before hopping on and playing.
Cool. All right. So tentatively 9 p.m. Eastern time Mondays. Catch Kenny, challenge him, cheer him on, whatever you want to do. All right, Tyler. Next up, we have Sea of Stars. Now, I don't think this game is on too many people's radars as of now, but it should be because it looks real cool. It is a spiritual follow-up to games like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, other 90s RPGs, created by the team that made The Messenger, which was an homage to Ninja Gaiden-esque platformers of yesteryear. So, Tyler got access to this due to being a backer in the game's Kickstarter campaign, and you have the floor. What do you think?
Yeah, so Sea of Stars, being made by Sabotage Studios, like Wiley said. This is supposedly the prequel to The Messenger. So this game is a turn-based RPG that kind of resembles like a Chrono Trigger in the ways where you have like different kinds of like inventory and like rest places. It's turn-based battle systems, but it's really unique in a lot of ways in terms of some of the mechanics that they have. So they have one mechanic. So like each type of attack has like certain attributes to it. It can be just like a regular melee attack, and you're only able to play in this demo 2 different characters, which is, their names are escaping me right now.
Where you swap them on the fly?
You can swap them on the fly, so you can be like whoever you want to be the party leader. You can control one or the other. And you can see kind of like in this footage how we see an enemy right here up on the left. So the enemies do appear in the overworld, so there's no like random encounters in this game. And depending on like how you approach the enemies, they can either like get a sneak attack on you, or if you approach them from behind, you'll get like an extra little bit of damage on them. And you see how actually just right here in the footage, you see how I like boosted up one of my attacks. And every time you attack, you do damage to the enemy, but you also get SP points when you attack. And then you use SP points to do things like spells. And also when you attack an enemy, they release these kind of like mana orbs or something, which lets you boost and amplify whatever your next attack is. So that's a really cool mechanic. So Zale here, he's like the sun boy. And then Valere is the moon girl.
Mm-hmm. They're the characters that I've seen in most of the promotional art.
Yep, so there are going to be more characters. They just haven't introduced you to them yet. But the soundtrack, just like in The Messenger, seems to be amazing so far. They have, I'm pretty sure the same composer that worked on The Messenger is working on this game as well as they have like some guest composers lined up who are, I can't remember the name of one of the individuals, but they have somebody who's pretty reputable. I think the person who designed some of the tracks for Chrono Trigger is actually going to be helping make some for this game.
Ooh.
Wow. I gotta say, I'm looking at the screenshots and it looks great. I see the footage that you're throwing up and it's exciting. Is there any sort of tentative release date at this point?
I mean, they're still saying that they probably have 1.5 to 2 years to work on it. I mean, this demo only lasted about an hour and a half. I mean, hopefully that means the game is going to be like really robust, and there's going to be like
Mhm.
a lot of story to it. Because
Yeah, did you get a glimpse into the story at all, or not so much?
not really. I mean, I think they released this more as a gameplay demo, just to kind of let people get a feel of what it's going to feel like to play. Because I mean, there's some dialogue in this demo, but every time something of importance comes up, they put text that says redacted for spoilers. So they just like took out
Oh,
like certain pieces of the dialogue.
That's clever. I like
interesting.
that.
Yep. And yeah, I mean, it's so far it's looking really good. I'm excited for it. Still have to wait a year and a half, 2 years, but they do have a Discord channel, and I'm pretty sure you can still back it. They're on another website now. If anyone is interested in backing it, now people can do so.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's not Kickstarter anymore. What is it?
No, it's not on Kickstarter anymore. It's on I would have to look on their Discord to see what the other thing was called. It's like backer or something or other. But it's out there. I'm sure you could just search for Sea of
Cool.
Stars.
Yeah,
and-
I'm sure people can search for it. The footage does look pretty stunning, and as a big fan of the Messenger and those old school RPGs for the most part,
Yep,
seems like a best of both worlds type thing.
Yeah, check out the
All right,
gameplay,
Kenny.
check out the soundtrack.
Oh yeah, you also have a video up on the YouTube channel if you just want to check out the full demo playthrough, right?
Yep, yeah, exactly.
Cool. All right, Kenny, you're back in the hot seat. You've been playing this new Battletoads. It's on Xbox Game Pass. First Battletoads game in 26 years. Was it worth the wait?
I would say so. I've been really enjoying it. You know, I started playing it. I did take a little break from it because I was playing Madden, but it's a lot of fun. I do like the humor in it. Just the story so far is pretty clever. How they're going with it. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. I would let everybody jump in and start playing it, but I think they do very well to make it feel like a continuation of where you left off in the last Battletoads game. You know, even though even if it felt like there was no story, they're like kind of giving it a story.
Okay.
Um, and it really mixes up different kinds of gameplay. You know, I wasn't expecting right away, like a hover bike level. So you had a hover bike level, and this is
The
a
infamous ones from the original game.
so this mini game right here, I was like, oh, this is fun. And it's very funny how they throw it in, because you'll notice here she loses, and it's almost like she's meant to lose here. Like there's no chance of her winning. Like they rigged it, all three of them, for her to lose. The Dark Queen. Um, I'd say it would be much better with others, but it's only couch co-op, which is where I say it drops the ball. That's the only part I think it drops the ball is by making it only couch co-op. They could have at least hopefully added the online multiplayer, but here's to hoping with an update they can add that.
I'm seeing from the footage here is that it seems a little bit reminiscent of the juggle beat 'em up gameplay of Streets of Rage 4.
Nope.
Maybe a little bit.
It's
I don't
definitely
know.
faster, I would say, because I played Streets of Rage 4, and one of my only gripes of it would have been the pacing and just how I felt like it could have been faster, or they could have given me like a dodge button.
Mm-hmm.
But here you have the dodge, and each one of the toads definitely is their own gameplay style. One is much faster than the other two, but he doesn't hit as hard. So you're watching right now. This is Rash. Rash is not as strong as Pimple, and neither is he as fast as Zitz, but he is stronger than Zitz and faster than Pimple. Like so, it's like they all have their balance. Pimple hits extremely hard, but he's very slow, and Zitz you could throw like 20 punches fast, in like within seconds, but he's really not doing too much damage while he's throwing those punches. So it's all about what kind of gameplay style you want to go with.
And you say that and I've heard this on a couple other podcasts, is that the genres tend to branch out in ways you wouldn't necessarily expect from beat 'em up. This looks sort of like a more traditional 3D arena boss fight. I mean, it's got beat 'em up plane of going up and down a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe it gets even less traditional than this. Can you explain about what type of things you might be doing other than running to the right and punching dudes?
So there is. I haven't reached it, but I did see off of a little spoiler-free review. There's a space battle. Like you're in space at one point in time, having destroying things in a little ship. So you get to do things like that. If I remember correctly, there is you have the hover racing, like the hover bike one.
The
I'm sorry.
hover motorcycle.
Yeah, the hover motorcycle one. But you also get one where like they are running, almost like a obstacle one where you're like dodging left and right and jumping over obstacles, things like that, where you really the enemy is just the obstacle course,
Gotcha. So
and
you're
it's
sort of
very
on rails.
very just fast paced and very reaction time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you're just nearing the end of Act 1. You think that there are 3 acts?
I would say so. That's my guess, right?
Okay.
I was looking at the achievements. They don't seem too many. Most of them kind of require the S rank in the missions. I got a couple S ranks in some missions. Also, getting all the collectibles in each mission, which is about 6 or 7 collectibles per mission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the Metacritic. It's got a 72 on PC. The user scores are what is just extremely divided. It's got 46 positive reviews, 53 negative, with some major issues about, I don't know, I think the overall art style and
Mm.
stuff. But anyway, haters gonna hate. Glad that you're liking it, and we'll hear more about it on next week's show, I imagine.
My only
For sure.
complaint is that they took the bad lady's boobs and made them smaller. I don't like that.
The Dark Queen.
Yeah, Dark Queen. They totally nixed her design, and I'm not a fan. You can put that back.
Maybe they'll patch them in.
Ooh.
Oh,
That's a good idea.
you did not want to forget, Wiley. Before we moved on,
Mhm.
I did play Marvel's Avengers beta this past week.
Oh, I totally forgot. Okay.
I did.
Well, let me
Spent,
get my.
spent a lot of time on games.
We are spending a lot of. Well, I think
It's
our
like it's a
topic
video
of the
game
show.
podcast.
Our topic of the show, I don't think will take up as long as some other ones in the past. So don't worry, you'll get your zoodles soon enough.
Yeah. So, Marvel's Avengers. I did the beta this weekend. I
Okay,
didn't
so
get
what'd you
to
think?
do any multiplayer. My friends they got to get to that point. I have too many games for me to juggle. I didn't get to that area, but
Mhm.
I have high expectations. I actually think it's gonna be a fun multiplayer game.
So how many characters you get to play as in this beta?
I got to play as 5.
5. Who's your
5.
fave? Who's your least fave?
My favorite, oddly enough, was Captain America.
Okay, yeah, I heard that his shield feels pretty good to toss around.
He and his combos are just fluid. A lot more
Okay.
fluid than everybody else's. His hand to hand and just tossing the shield it just makes for very clean combos. My second favorite would be Thor.
Nice.
Just being able to just throw his hammer and then kind of like pull it back while looking at a different enemy. So then you hit one forward and then you're hitting one backwards with it. That's pretty cool. His powers are pretty dope. My least favorite so far, Iron Man, but I didn't get to play too much. The guys told me that if I would have progressed a little further more, I would have gotten to another part where Iron Man would have been much better, but I didn't get to that point.
How do you think
Um,
Hulk felt? Because I heard some pretty negative impressions about Hulk.
Hulk, man, I died in this during this beta using Hulk. I died like 3 4 times. Um, and there was one time on the bridge I died. Well, not died, but I got reset. My position was reset because I was jumping from one grapple thing to another, and then saw enemies as I was jumping, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do a Hulk smash from the air, and I smashed right into the water instead because there was really no way to aim my smash. It was just straight down.
Hulk smash with cannonball.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Hulk really feels very slow. You know, you got your dodge, but Hulk really doesn't dodge. It's almost like a extremely slow sidestep.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Yeah, go ahead.
he I like him. I would like them for what I played still better than Iron Man, just because of how strong he is. You know, like you could practically hit a couple enemies and you're done with them. But does he feel real clunky and just heavy and not gonna be that fun to play as? Yeah, you know, like if this is gonna be a little fast pace of hero beat 'em up that you can party together and go through the story together, Hulk's not gonna be the character I'm picking.
Are there any boss fights in the beta?
So that's so on the bridge, I get to fight Taskmaster as Black Widow, and then I
Mm-hmm.
get to fight further into the beta. I get to fight Abomination as the Hulk.
Word.
I'm not sure if there's another one
And
afterwards.
how did those feel?
The Taskmaster one felt really good because these are characters that are very agile, very combo based. Both Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, and Taskmaster. So it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
She felt really good. Actually, wow. Yeah. So yeah, I even forgot about her that I played as her. But yeah, she was pretty good. When it came to combo wise, she was as almost as good as Captain America's combos. Yeah, when it came to fluidity.
Mm-hmm.
And the fight with Abomination felt a little more like a slugfest and a little more slower. I felt like I was just pounding away and this fight was taking so long because I just wasn't doing enough damage.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I felt about that second fight.
Okay. Well, that beta was available to people that pre-ordered the game
Oh,
as
that
well
was
as
that was
certain
an
Verizon
open one.
Wireless. Oh,
That
was
was
it an open one?
it was an open one on the at least on the Xbox. It was open this past
Okay,
weekend.
just for a weekend, so no longer available. The
Nope,
game releases finally on
the 4th of September.
4th of September. Holy moly, that is coming right up. Same day as Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, which is the game I will be playing.
No.
All right, that was a big what we've been playing, and now we're going to move on to the topic of the show. This last weekend was the DC Fandome, their online convention where they had all types of news, gameplay reveals, news about comics, news about TV shows, movies, all things DC. I think that it was a little bit more substantial than maybe some folks had expected. I think expectations, whether or not they were high or low, I think most were met from the general vibe of I've been getting from people's reactions. We got a first gameplay look at Gotham Knights, which is the Batman follow-up to Origins from WB Montreal. It is a 2-player co-op game with 4 playable characters. After Batman's death, they show it in the trailer, not a spoiler. And then we also got the first look at Suicide Squad, the 2022 release or 2022 planned release from Rocksteady, their first game since 2015's Batman Arkham Knight. Wow, 7 years. So, Kenny, you're the other big comic guy. You're way more of a comic guy than me. What did you think about the, online convention as a whole? What excited you? What did you think?
So me personally, I was very excited. I saw these two games and I looked into them afterwards, and I was like, okay, this is very exciting, very welcoming. Like I like where they're going. Me personally, I felt as though it's a nice departure. Not saying I love Batman, but it'd be nice, that he has great characters in his story, in his lore that can
Hmm.
get shine, and this is a good shine to them. And from my understanding, is Gotham Knights does not take part in the Arkham verse, right?
Right.
It's its own continuity, but Suicide Squad kills the Justice League does continue in the Arkham verse.
True. Yes, that is correct. which I thought was interesting, and I kind of thought that was a theme throughout the whole entire conference was, hey, we're bringing back Ben Affleck as Batman, and Robert Pattinson's going to be Batman because multiverses. Hashtag love the multiverse. Which really, you know, it makes sense for them because they do have these properties all over the place. You got your CW shows with the Flash and Arrow. You got your Joker movie, which made $1 billion last year. You
Yep.
got, the sort of disappointing DC cinematic universe, which has not held a candle to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as far as critical or fan reception. So just sort of saying, yeah, it doesn't all have to make sense. They're just stories with these characters, and they might intersect in different ways. You might see Michael Keaton come back as Batman at some point because that would be cool.
Actually, that is the rumors right now. Funny
Yeah.
that you bring it up. But what people aren't realizing is that I tried having this conversation. The Michael Keaton that we will see in the Flash movie, because that's the rumors, is that Michael Keaton will return as the Flash in as Batman in the Flash movie with Ezra Miller. He's actually gonna play Thomas Wayne turned Batman. For those that don't know about the Flashpoint storyline, Flash goes back, saves his, messes with the past and changes a lot of things that go into just messing with the continuity to the point where instead of Bruce Wayne's parents dying, Bruce dies, and his
Wow.
and his father
That's
becomes
nutty.
Batman, and his mother, Shocker, becomes the Joker.
Damn, this is crazy. So this is like making Into the Spider-Verse seem like green eggs and ham.
I
Not as good. Into the Spider-Verse I heard was a lot better, but in really quick. But I saw the Flashpoint Paradox when I was getting a tattoo like 5 years ago, and I gotta say it was very entertaining.
right? It gives a nice little twist with because his father as Batman is very ruthless, not as oh I don't hurt people.
Yeah, he's like, I don't give a shit if I'll kill you anyway.
Yep.
Isn't that the one where he tries to like get his powers back too? And then Batman, he's just like, oh, if you try to recreate getting your powers back, you're gonna, get a 4th-degree burn and be an ugly monster. And he's like, I don't care, do it. And Batman's like, okay. And he just
Yeah.
helps him do it.
Yep. Helps him regain his powers and everything because since since his mother was never killed and all this never happens, he never becomes the Flash. So for him to go back in time to fix things, he needs to now regain his powers and needs to tap into the wow, I forget what's the speedster, whatever that is, power.
That's okay. So the footage that Tyler's throwing up on the screen is from Suicide Squad. Earlier it was from Gotham Knights. If you are watching the video version, kind of want to go in order of those two games about what our initial thoughts were. Gotham Knights, I already said a little bit, described it earlier, but it's you can play it single player or with another friend cooperatively. The 4 playable characters that we know of are Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin, and Red Hood, who if you follow
Yep.
Batman lore, you're probably pretty familiar with them. Different stages where Batman's sidekick, and so it'll be neat to be able to choose from the 4 of them. We saw about 6-7 minutes of gameplay. Definitely seemed like pretty in line with what we know from the Arkham series, which as far as it's hand-to-hand combat, it's mixture of stealth and action, it's gadgets usage and stuff like that.
And
Lot-
it looks like Batgirl may be the most that resembles gameplay like Batman. It seems like she might feel the most like playing as Batman, whereas Nightwing will play a lot faster. He has his dual batons. Seems like Robin's gonna be able to zip through using some kind of you know fast motion teleporting I saw from some of the gameplay. And Red Hood, of course, using guns. So we don't see Batman using any guns. So Batgirl seems like from the gameplay the closest to just any kind of Batman gameplay or fighting style in this one.
And so one thing that's new for this and could be good, could be could be pretty bad is the fact that this has leveling and it has enemies that have levels above their heads and numbers flying out of them when you do damage. And part of me wonders, is this going to really go for the games of a service thing, or is it going to be sort of action RPG light, a la something like Assassin's Creed Origins or something? Like, I don't want this to be something that I'm having to grind missions out in order to level up. Like, I hope that it has a concise story that has some end game content, maybe, that if people want to really get into high level play. But I hope that it doesn't turn into too much of a side quest-a-thon / never-ending cycle of finding better gear. I don't know how you feel about that, Kenny.
I definitely feel the same way. I hope it doesn't become something where I need to grind too much, but give me side quests. I'm all for side quests, right? But as long as it's not something I need to fully do every single one to beat the game, as long if I could go through the main story and be able to beat it, even if these bosses, aren't something where like, oh, you're required to be level 25 to beat this boss. Like, no, like if I'm level 13 going into this boss, as long as I'm good, I could beat it, then perfect, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
actually think that the director did say something about how if you come into this Mr. Freeze fight, which we're seeing here at level 5, he actually will have a different move set and deal less damage than if you go in at level 15.
oh, then
So
that's perfect.
That's pretty cool.
it is pretty
So,
cool. What do
so
you
the
think of the footage you saw, Tyler?
I think it looks like a fun game. Looks like a game I might be interested in. You bringing up Assassin's Creed definitely made me, the more that I think about it, this game kind of gave me that kind of vibe. So if it's like that, maybe I'll give it a shot. I really haven't been into many of the Batman games in the past, but I do like a good RPG light.
Now, Kenny, this game teases at the end who the villains of the game is going to be, the Court of Owls.
yes,
Have you read any of the New 52 Court of Owl?
like stories.
Yeah.
No, I haven't, but I know a good like little bit about them, and I know that they are kind of like just masterminds behind a lot of things in Gotham.
They're like the
They
Illuminati
Yeah,
of
the
Gotham.
exactly. That's the best way to describe them. They are the
Mhm.
Illuminati of Gotham, older than the city itself. Been around, living underground, have these acolytes, these fanatics. It's almost like a one big cult that's been around forever, and they are, up there, top tier, threats to Batman and to Gotham. And I actually was excited first when the rumors came out that it was going to be a Court of Owls story, and I was like, "Wow, Batman against the Court of Owls." I'm for it, right? And now I'm even more excited because it's not Batman against the Court of Owls.
You think he's
Um,
really dead? You think he's really dead?
I think so. I think that we'll get to see that the Court of Owls took him out once and for all, right, in this continuity, and let's go from there. I'm a little shocked at that. I really thought that the Robin was gonna be Damien, but it's actually Tim Drake.
Oh, huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I read a little bit of the Batman and Robin with Damian. Those were good, the New 52. And I highly recommend checking out the original Batman New 52s, which were focused on the Court of Owls. You can find the graphic novels for like 10 or to $13 on Amazon. And
Yep.
I read up the first 1 through 4 trades and then sort of fell off, but the first couple are Court of Owls based and really good when I was going through a major Batman phase a few years ago. Sorry, I'm just looking out the window because it just started pouring, straight pouring, and the cats are up and being all excited. So that's what's going on here. What about you guys? You hearing any things on your roof?
No, nothing here.
Nope.
Huh.
Looking kind of clear over here, over
I'm
yonder.
just hearing your lovely voices.
There is again.
All right. So we didn't get to see any gameplay of Rocksteady's games. We did get a pretty substantial sort of flavor trailer. Got to look at who we're going to be playing as. The Shark is there. Harley Quinn is there. Who else?
Captain
Deadshot,
Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang. So a lot of people that I didn't know about that like. We'll also talk about the Suicide Squad trailer for the movie. I think this one, like, it was great that we finally got a look at it, but I wanted to see more. I wanted to see some gameplay, some like overview. Is this going to be, a loop based? Is this going straight for the Avengers launch when it comes out, or is it its own type of thing? This is coming from Rocksteady, one of the most. They made that trilogy on the PS3
Yeah.
and PS4 slash 360 Xbox One. That's responsible for doing what you want some game to do to animate games, making superhero games be respected and like really looked forward to. So it's got a lot of hype writing on it. What do you guys think of the footage that was shown?
I mean, it's really hard to
Um,
say because it was just a animated trailer.
Did you like the
Um,
vibe?
it was alright. That's all I can really say. Like I don't know.
All right,
I'm
not a lot to say.
I'm not a fanboy.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I'm excited for it just because it's different. We're coming from the villain side. Even though they're the Suicide Squad, so they got the things around their neck that if they don't listen, they could Amanda Waller could blow their heads off. But um, it's a nice little change of pace. Like I can own with how well Rocksteady does some of these fights at times, I am excited to see how it's gonna look and feel to fight Superman with three people,
Mm-hmm.
with
Yep.
three people alongside me. I think that's gonna be fun. And
Yeah,
I
I hope we get
wonder
to look at that before another year passes.
exactly, and I wonder like, are these gonna be like, is the Superman fight gonna be like a raid? Like, are we gonna go storm, his base in the north, in the icy tundra as a mini raid type
That
thing,
sounds cool.
right?
Yeah, I wonder. Everything wants to be a live game that's got multiple seasons and people keep coming back to, and you assume that's what they're going for here. But I hope they still make a great campaign that stands the
Yep.
test of time, that you don't need to necessarily have the latest update to play. But we'll
hmm
see. We'll see.
Oh, my brain is like running circles. It's like imagine storming the Amazon for Wonder Woman. Come after Wonder Woman as the
Yeah,
Suicide Squad. Yeah.
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
hmm
Speaking of Wonder Woman, we're going to be moving on now, I think, from the games that were talked about. We got several looks at new movies, including one for Wonder Woman 1984. What did you think of that? Did you get a chance to watch it?
I actually haven't got a chance to watch the trailer for Wonder Woman, but I really enjoyed the first one, and I think the director and Gal Gadot are a great combo. So I expect good things from this movie. You know,
It looks pretty neat. I mean, it looks like the humor's back in a good way. I've chuckled a couple times. It's definitely got that, oh, we're in the 80s type of thing going on a couple moments. But the fights, Kristen Wiig is playing Cheetah,
you know,
and her design looks okay. She's being more serious than I typically see her. And overall, I thought it looked pretty neat. The trailer that really stuck out to me, though, was the director's trailer of the Suicide Squad. Did you get a chance to check that one out?
no, either. No, it's been such a
Ah,
busy weekend that I haven't even gotten to that.
all
But I
right.
did see screen grabs of it, and I saw the abundance of characters we're gonna be seeing in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
it's pretty nuts.
So I think what I'm expecting is gonna be, he's gonna have his quirky humor that like he's brought to Guardians of the Galaxy, to
Mm-hmm.
Suicide Squad, and I think the shine to all these B list characters is gonna be it's gonna give them the creative freedom to do more than you would expect when you're like taking big name villains.
Mm-hmm. I, the way they characterizes it's a 1970s war movie. Um, the cast is pretty nuts, and he hypes it up as the biggest film he's ever done. Talks about how the whole set vibe was different than back in the original Suicide Squad, which was really bad. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree
Yeah,
with that.
yeah, I mean, like not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it was pretty darn bad.
And to hear like you when you actually look into that and you hear the interviews with David Ayers in regards to the first one, there is so much of the movie that was cut that wasn't even his choice. That was like
Hmm.
upper higher ups that were like, oh no, we don't want this in the movie, and he was like at one point in time it was no longer his movie, and it was whatever they wanted to put out.
That reminds me of another thing we can talk about next. The Justice League Snyder Cut, the long rumored, heavily requested 4-hour, it turns out, cut of the other disappointing DC film, Justice League, which I think came out in 2017.
Yeah.
So they are going to be releasing this in 4 parts on HBO Max. And let's see how long the original Justice movie
believe
was.
it clocked in about 2 and 485 minutes, I want to say 245, 252,
Straight 2 hours, man.
just straight 2 hours.
Straight
Okay, I
straight
thought
2
it was.
hours, which is
It
short
felt
for a superhero movie.
I felt like it was longer. I might have watched the slightly extended one, which was like I think I had like another like 15 20 minutes in it.
Okay, well, this is doubling the length, and it's going to be released as a sort of mini-series thing. And it seems crazy that they had that much footage to work with. I don't know if they went back and filmed anything additional. I don't think so.
No.
But I'm sure that this is going to be mixed up and cut in a way that changes the flow of it completely. I mean, it's twice as long. The movie has its what do you call it? Apologists that think that it's misunderstood and actually pretty good. But overall, I know the movie was a box office failure and a critical and fan disappointment. So if they can turn it around, that would be pretty cool. And perhaps maybe we'll get the ultimate Suicide Squad edition that has way more than the 5 minutes of Jared Leto as Joker that we got.
Yeah, maybe we'll get the David Ayers cut, just like we got the Snyder cut.
I do think that it's been neat how HBO and DC it's kind of become the destination for all that content, whether it be the movies or the few series like Titans. Is Titans on there?
I don't think Titans is, but I do know Doom Patrol is there and the Harley
Yeah.
Quinn animated series, which I started watching recently.
Okay, and I just Googled this. Titan Season 3 will reportedly air on HBO Max, so maybe the movie will, or maybe that'll make the transition there. But yeah, it sort of felt nice and cohesive having all that stuff in one space. And just as a whole, I think HBO Max's collection is pretty sick.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're phasing out
We
the
also
DC universe to move everything over to HBO Max.
All right, so we also got a couple other movie announcements. I don't have too much to say about them, so we don't have to really get into them. And so there was the Flash movie, which is going to feature Batman. We also talked a little bit earlier, maybe multiple Batmans, Ezra Miller returning. I think, who knows? I'll be able to make an opinion on whether or not I want to see that after I see the Snyder cut, because it was he got some screen time. He made me chuckle a couple times, sort of the comic relief in the Justice League. But we'll have to see a little bit more of Ezra, who I actually went to middle school with and used to know way back when.
Oh, nice.
So y'all, what shall we conclude episode 68 of the Level With You show with? A rendition of
Tune
something?
in on Thursday for the live stream of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
Oh
shit.
yeah, Crystal Chronicles, baby.
That's this week?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, brother.
We got
So is the
Macho
game
Man
technically
Randy
out
Savage.
today?
No, it comes out Thursday.
Comes out Thursday. Okay.
I already got it pre-ordered.
Cool. And what time? Yeah, I saw it pop up on my screen. I wasn't able to preload it though. What time are we thinking for that?
I don't know, like 7:30.
Okay. We'll talk a little bit more about that soon.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, tune in. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. we will be streaming that game, as well as Madden on Monday, and who else knows what throughout the week. Thank you for tuning into the show. Thank you, Anthony, for being with us, even if you're not showing with us. And we'll see everybody next week.
All right, catch y'all later. See you on the streams.
Bye.
I'm always watching. Goodbye.